Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, Tiki Live, Rumble, iTunes, TuneIn, Facebook, and my YouTube channel. Why so many places? Because I want the maximum splatter zone for this show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk at all, no Amber, Johnny, Chris, Will talk at all, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And today is a special day. Yours truly has been on the air, on camera for 591 consecutive weeks, 691 shows, and that is 9 years. I think I'm going to get myself. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it. I am so grateful that somewhere in the 2012, early February, I think it was, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning and the voice said, radio. And I said, radio? Like, I never thought about radio. I was doing some commentary on TV, but radio? And the voice said, radio. And I said, it's 4:30 in the morning. Can we talk about this later? And the voice said, radio. So I went to the computer. I literally sat down for 44 minutes and wrote the title of the show, which most of you like. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The format of the show, the business plan for the show, the guests, all of that in 44 minutes. And then I went back to bed. And then I think that was a Thursday. On Monday, I connected with Tony Sweet at Universal Broadcasting Network, began to broadcast my first show, May 1st, 2012, joined the NBC News Radio KCAA family 3 years after that. And then during COVID, was invited by my boss, Fred Lundgren, who owns the station, to step into the morning show slot. So I am so grateful. That's my gratitude sandwich today. I don't think I need to do 8. I am I'm honored to have this platform for so long. I'm honored to have the message that I get to. I knew I was going to get emotional. I'm not apologizing for crying, because tears are the disinfectant that keep our hearts soft. And these are tears of joy and gratitude. And I'm so, so lucky to get to do this. And thank you all who are listening now or later for all of your support. The KCAA guys, for your support. I truly am honored and grateful. Xie. And because this is a special show, I have special guests. And I got to pre-record with them yesterday because Morgan's Parkinson's, the medication didn't kick in for an early morning live show. But I can't wait to bring you this interview. Touched my heart. I'm so honored. This is, well, she'll tell you that she doesn't do this very often. But we're going to go on a quick break. And when we come back, I'm bringing you Don Most, Ralph Malph from Happy Days, and his amazing wife, Morgan. That's when we come back here on Take My Advice I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome back. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. I am your host, Dr. Marissa. This is a show about hope and happiness, so there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words at all, no Kanye talk. I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. The reason why I had very special guests today is because today is my 9-year anniversary of being on the air. I told you the story before break, and I can't think of a better guest to bring on to continue a tradition, because he was here last year to celebrate with me on my 8 years. And I was so impressed and so in love with how he described his wife that I thought, what a perfect tradition to continue is to have Don Most back on the show for my 9-year and bring his beautiful and musically talented, I like that video that you did with the blues, the Parkinson'S blues, his wonderful wife, Morgan Post. So please welcome them to the show.
Well, thank you for having us, Doctor, and for having Morgan with me this time.
I'm really excited to be here.
Wonderful. And I'm excited to have you. And for those of you who don't know why he looks kind of familiar, Don Most is most remembered, probably, although you're doing a lot of stuff now that people are recognizing you and practicing new things that we're going to talk about. You were Ralph MALPH on Happy Days. And
Indeed.
without, I'm ageless, but I did watch Happy Days and I loved it. And of course, my show and what I'm known for is happiness. So it just serves that you would be on to celebrate my anniversary. Ralph MALPH was the redheaded one. You're not redheaded anymore, but
No, not quite anymore.
But he's a great actor and more. So I'm just going to highlight a couple of his things. He's been not only in Happy Days, he's been on Star Trek, Family Guy, Glee, and a myriad of other film projects that have won various awards that I see posted by his longtime acting buddy and friend Anson Williams' feed on Facebook, who I'm also blessed to have had on my show multiple times, and your mom, Mrs. Cunningham, Marion Ross. In fact, I'm highlighting her while I'm in Canada. I leave the day after tomorrow, and I'm replaying my interview with her as my Mother's Day tribute. So it's kind of like this whole week's going to be Happy Days to celebrate.
That's fabulous.
Yes, it's a happy day, happy week, happy celebration.
Yes.
So following in the footsteps of some of your peers, and I'm glad that I asked you for your bio because I didn't know this, Don Most has now directed 3 feature films. The first, Last Best Sunday, had its world premiere at the Seattle International Festival, was a feature film winner at the Telluride Indie Fest. Moolah, the second one, starring William Mapother, I hope I don't screw up these names, Shiley Woodley, Treat Williams, Daniel Baldwin, and Curtis Armstrong premiered at the Newport Beach Film Festival, where it earned the Most Outstanding Achievement in Directing Award. That's amazing. And you didn't know this, or maybe you did. I'm one of the sponsors in the Newport Beach Film Festival.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
the
that.
Chinese Spotlight film. It's been for the last 5 years. So when I read that, I'm like, wow, it's a good thing, I didn't do the voting. Otherwise, they would accuse me.
Well, it was a little before you came on board. I think that was probably around 2007 or 2008 when it premiered at that festival.
Okay. Good. We're all good. No funny business.
No conflict.
No conflict of interest. Don's also directed Harley's Hill, his first family film, which was recently seen on Showtime, Stars, and Encore. And then, last but not least, but one of my most favorite things that bonds me to Don is his love of music. And he's gone back to his first love, singing. Always loved the standard swinging big band style of music, and has mounted a show, Mostly Swinging, which is also a CD. He's performed at 54 Below, the Cutting Room in New York City, Catalina's Jazz Club in Hollywood, California, and Vibratos and Vitello's Jazz Club in LA, to great acclaim. So his CD features an outstanding 17-piece band comprised of some of the top jazz studio players in Los Angeles. He's currently working on a new CD with a Nashville-based producer, Tony Mantor. It will feature some jazz standards in a contemporary jazz setting, along with some classics from the 60s and 70s. I am so delighted that we share. I don't know if I told you, I'm a retired lounge lizard. I think I mentioned that last time.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe not. But I did Simply Blues on Sunset and Vine when it was Simply Blues, Romeo and Juliet's in Santa Monica, and the Piano Bar in Antwerpen, Belgium.
Wow. How wonderful. That's great.
That's the other thing. So that's way enough about me and about you. It is Morgan's turn to shine, and I am so delighted. I'm going to use something that hopefully you'll laugh at. I don't have an answering machine, Morgan. I have a questioning machine. And when you call me, my machine says, "Who are you and what do you want?" So, Morgan Most, who are you and what do you want?
Who am I? What do I want?
That's a tough one. What do you want? Well, who are you? Well, you're from?
I'm from Los Angeles. I'm a mom, even though my kids are grown. They'll always be my little kids. And I went to UCLA.
Whoa, yay!
An alumni?
I taught there.
Oh, yeah?
At the Anderson Graduate School of Management for almost 6 years.
Wow, that's great.
Go Bruins!
Yeah. I studied theater there, and I went on to act for a while, and then I met this guy over here.
Yeah, well, she was doing an episode of Happy Days.
I was very smitten with him.
As was I with her, obviously.
And that changed everything.
Yeah, but you continued acting
for a while.
Until we decided to start a family, to start having kids, which was not for another 5 years after we got married.
Okay.
And that's when you decided to take a
hiatus
from acting while the kids were young.
Yeah.
And then never really went back to the acting.
No. But I took up art. I started painting and doing oil painting and acrylic painting. And then I started writing and doing that. Then I started playing poker and I started doing other things like that.
Poker.
That was for medicinal reasons.
Well, you could
say.
Yeah, well, it actually is.
It is.
Well, because Morgan got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 20 years ago.
And I started, well, when I first was diagnosed, we were driving home in the car and I said, okay, there's no more scary movies, no more thrillers. I'm doing comedy therapy and I'm just going to change how I look at things because this is a game changer. It just threw a
big monkey
fly in the ointment of life.
I bet.
And so as I was going along, I started doing crossword puzzles and I started doing, okay, what is it? Sudoku or Sudoku? I don't know. One of those. But it's something like that. I don't know which one away. To stimulate my brain because basically you've got brain cells that are dying off when you have Parkinson's. So that was one of my therapies. I decided to start. I did puzzles. I did everything I could find that would stimulate my brain. And then I got sort of tired of doing the same old things, and we went to a charity.
I got invited to
a charity poker tournament. And Don did real well, and I got into the watching it and everything, and I decided to try it because I thought maybe that would be stimulating.
Well, actually, we went to our friend's house because I needed to learn the game to be prepared for this charity tournament. So a friend of ours had a game. He said, "We'll teach you." And then Morgan came and you played and you found it, you got engrossed in it. And then we played again, and then she noticed that her symptoms would abate. Her symptoms would sort of almost go away while she was playing poker.
Yeah, I could be the old me again when I wasn't shaky anymore. And I just got so focused and so in the zone that it made everything else fall away. So I took it up and I really learned. I took lessons, I read books, I did all that, and I really learned. And so it was very stimulating, and it was great to be able to just take a few hours away from the beast, as I call it. I call Parkinson's the beast. That's my name I've given it because that's what it's like.
Battling the beast. Yeah. And we've written. She came up with an idea. Morgan started writing a blog about some of her experiences because some of them were very funny.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd come home and say, "You wouldn't believe what happened to me," and so, and I got to write this down. Mm-hmm. And she started writing, and then I said, "This is great," and she started a blog, and people started really, really responding to it because it was very entertaining and very funny, but yet people were saying, "I'm learning about this disease in ways I didn't understand," but it wasn't in a way that was, could have been pretty heavy. Instead, it was all these experiences that were very funny, and Morgan had a sense of humor about it. And then people said, you ought to do something with this. So she and I have adapted her blog and, obviously collaborated a lot. Mm-hmm. And we're developing a TV series, like a half-hour sort of comedy based on that. And so yeah. And her writing skills, really started coming to the fore during all this.
That's so great. Well, I don't know if Dawn told you, my mom has Parkinson's. She's had it for the last...
How long?
15 years.
Oh, she's up there too, yeah.
Yeah, she takes the regular medication that I think is prominent, and she had the kind that was not shaking, but muscle
rigidity.
Yeah, rigidity. That's the word. That's the word. So she's now 85. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm going to Toronto in a couple days to actually spend a couple weeks with her.
Oh, nice.
And I will definitely try to encourage her to play games. Unfortunately, she has the habit of keeping the religious programming days or something on all the time. And she doesn't like the light, so it's very dark in her room because it bothers her eyes.
It does that to me too. I get
light sensitive.
By the light sensitive. Yeah. So I wear sunglasses everywhere. You see me walking around like this places because I've forgotten my sunglasses or left them somewhere.
Got it. Got it. So I told her that you were coming on today when I called her, and she's happy to hear that and asked the same question, how long has she had it? So can you give her a special message that I can take to her?
Yeah, I would tell her that just hang in there. There's so much things that you can do to help yourself along. Exercise is probably one of the most important things. And if your mom can just walk, if she can just take a walk every day, that would be so.
Is that hard?
Is that hard for her?
She has, I don't know if it's part of the Parkinson's or the side effects, but she has nerve pain in her knee, so she can't walk.
Well, can she do a stationary bicycle? Can she do anything like that?
No.
Maybe with your arms.
Maybe her arms. Maybe she can find little 1 pound or 2 pound weights with her arms and just lift them. You can take a water jug and fill it with water. And just lift that a couple of times a day. Just anything to keep her muscles moving and stuff like that would be so important for her. Yeah. And it would make a big difference.
Yeah, and maybe you could find some game that interests, engages her.
Or puzzles, just doing jigsaw puzzles.
Oh, I love jigsaw puzzles.
I love them too. Oh, yeah. I've got some right over there too. Trade puzzles.
I'm working on one. I'm always working on one while I'm working. So absolutely.
And what about music? Is music? Does music like music therapy? Music is therapy, and as you know,
I think the toughest thing is the way that you have approached it, which I really appreciate. Sharing it with my studio audience so that anybody who knows anybody with Parkinson's, that's one of the wonderful side effects of having you on for my anniversary show, is to give this kind of encouragement, what works for you. The mental side of it, the emotional aspect, you call it the beast. It sounds like you're going to fight this. You're not going to let the stuff. She kind of lost that. And that's the hardest thing is I try to, I'm a motivational speaker, right? I'm trying to, but some people have to be open to it. And I think it really, she was an incredibly beautiful, loved to travel, did all kinds of things and had such a full life. And then to find out she has Parkinson's and she lost like 20 pounds in 6 months from the muscle stuff. So talk to me about the emotional side of having Parkinson's and sort of, what can you do to manage that whole process?
Well, let's see. I mean, I from the beginning, I wasn't going to let it stop me because I couldn't do that. I wanted the comedy therapy. I wanted to do whatever I could because there was no way I was just going to just take it lying down. Yeah. So
literally,
I find that I was talking about like the poker that made me, and I want to make this clear. I'm not telling anybody to go out and play poker. That this was my thing.
Right.
But I have talked with a couple of other people with Parkinson's, and they have each found, whether it's table tennis or it's some other game or it's some other writing or painting or whatever, if you can just find the one thing you do, you can find something that will give you some relief. Mm-hmm. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be poker. It doesn't have to be anything specific. It could be, you could be doing something else. It's just some music, or you could be painting, or you could be drawing, or you could be dancing, or you could be ballroom dancing. That might be your thing. Yeah. But just get out and just do it. Just find something. Right. Don't let the beast win.
The other thing, though, is that you're losing dopamine. Mm-hmm. The cells that produce dopamine are dying. And so with the loss of that neurotransmitter, depression is a very common effect that will, a residual effect from Parkinson's. Okay. So you're dealing with that. Mm-hmm. So, sometimes I don't know if her doctors have prescribed it, but antidepressants is one way. We've been looking into some other things that we've been reading about that might help produce dopamine. There's something called CES. I don't know. I'm looking into it. It's cranial electronic stimulation, these little devices. And they might produce it sort of through electromagnetic type of manner. So, there's medications for the depression that's results from the loss of the dopamine, and that could be very helpful.
Might be. Now, Morgan, this was 20 years ago, how old were your kids when you first found out?
Let's see, I was 43, so my kids were they were in their teens or early teens.
Yeah, 16, 17.
So you, what was the first symptom, or how did you know that you even were not feeling well?
My dad was in the hospital, my stepdad, and I was going to visit him. And I drove home one day and I noticed my pinky finger was shaking. I thought, well, it's just the stress from going to the hospital, from driving there and back, and it's seeing my stepdad like that. And then I just started progressing. So I went to one doctor and they thought I had something, they diagnosed me something else because I was so young. They didn't think that.
Yes, that was my point.
But and so then we went to another doctor, and finally I got the diagnosis of Parkinson's. And
how long between testing and diagnosis?
It was,
from that first
one, the first doctor, that was probably 8 months. Because I went to another doctor who put me on medication that didn't work because they figured if it didn't work, then I didn't have Parkinson's, I didn't have benign
essential tremor is what they originally.
But then that didn't work, so they figured I better go see another doctor, and I saw another. He was very quick to diagnose me.
But then we went to a friend of mine from the East Coast recommended a doctor at USC at the Keck School of Medicine, and
he made the diagnosis.
Yeah.
So that whole time, you sound like you're a fighter. You're like,
I'm a fighter, and I wanted my girls to know that this is not, it's not going to be the end of me. I'm going to fight it with everything I've got, and I'm not going to take it sitting down. So I go out and I do as much as I can. I went zip lining the other day.
Wow.
And I go and try and do as much as I can. Whenever we go somewhere where I can find something to do to battle the beast.
Yeah, well, I kind of knew that about you because your husband was just so full of pride and love when he was talking about you and what you are, who you are, and what you are to him. That's why I was like, oh, I have to have Morgan on. I don't care if I have you on again. No, I'm kidding. I have to have Morgan on because I really believe that you have the secret of a beautiful, abundant life that we all are. We have that gift. We have that birthright to have a wonderful life. But so many people take the stuff that happens to them and feel like they got, short shifted, is that the word? Punished, and I've been pretty open about my childhood trauma, which is something that, 7 out of 10 of us have had. I'm not comparing it to Parkinson's. I'm just saying that, pain in life, nobody escapes pain in life, just in different forms, but suffering is optional. Pain in life is mandatory. Suffering is optional. So I love when I meet people like you who, you're not your diagnosis, and you not only make the best of what has happened, you take that as a launching point for even more. And so I just love that. Those are the kind of people I love on my show because it's so important for us to understand and recognize and grab onto that. Otherwise, we've got so many unhappy people, and even ones with not a lot of challenges are unhappy. And it's killing us. It's killing our culture. It's killing our country. 1 out of 4 before COVID were on antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication. And then, now after COVID, it's even more. And then you have side effects. And then now there's some pill to take to make sure that the first pill works. So I just don't, I don't want to buy into that, life sucks. So.
Well, as I probably mentioned to you when we had our interview, I was always amazed at her strength and her approach. And I probably said to you, I don't know that I could have done half as good as Morgan. So, and like you said, she's used it in like the Parkinson'S blues things that you saw. I mean, she came up with this idea because we were listening, some song came on, some old great blues song came on, and her mind just started going that way. And she says, oh, that gives me an idea. I can write a song to this, different lyrics. And she has a lot of fun with it, but yet, and then we worked on it together. I shot it and then we got it out there, and people, loved it, especially people with Parkinson's, because they could totally relate to what she was saying. But it was done in a way that was, I don't know, entertaining or uplifting and brings a smile to your face. And she was constantly doing these things with a blog, and now hopefully maybe we'll get our series going and it'll have a wider impact, hopefully.
It would be awesome. And that was one of my questions. Was the blues your idea or her idea? So you answered that question very, very timely. And so because of who you are, Morgan, and what you've done and how you're helping so many people who have Parkinson's or, are part of a family that maybe doesn't know how to relate or how to help the best way, I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Oh, thank you.
I don't give to all my guests. So we're going to insert applause right here.
Hey.
Yay. And thank you so much for the way that you show up in life. I think it's phenomenal. I mean, I think wives of stars are already the ones that are the stronger one to support the actor, especially actors' wives. And now you're an actor's wife and a director's wife, and you have Parkinson's, and you're beating the beast. So I don't know if I gave your husband that award, but
I don't think so.
There you go. Now I hope you feel really special.
Thank you so much.
And because I didn't, I would like to also give one to you, Dawn, because your love is just so so transparent. And hashtag relationship goals. You are both really great role models for people, not just when one has a physical challenge, but just, how long have you been married?
40 years now.
Oh, my Lord Almighty. I didn't realize it was that long. I saw the post, but I didn't read the number. I thought maybe it was like 20-something or something, but 40 years.
Yeah.
There's another round of applause. And we have to take a commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to hear some secrets maybe of how you last 40 years in a marriage from Morgan and Dawn Most here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. The morning show here on CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA AM 1050 FM 102.3 and FM 106.5. It is streaming also on my Facebook and YouTube channel now, thanks to technology and thanks to my station owner at the NBC News Radio channel, Fred. He promoted me almost a year ago from a weekly show to a daily show, and I'm so delighted that today I celebrate 14 years on the air, on camera with this show. And thank you so much for your support. I am the #1 8 a.m. show in the IE, #2 to Bill Handle in Southern California on the station that is the #1 talk news station. All thanks to you and all the support you continue to give me. And today, because I'm celebrating, I brought back Don Most, who celebrated my 8-year with me with his beautiful, strong, incredibly adaptive, and takes no prisoners, is beating the beast called Parkinson's. Her name is Morgan Most, and welcome them back to the studio.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you again. Thank you so much.
So you're going to give secrets on how to stay married happily most of the time at 40 years. So I actually want to go back because you sort of glossed over it. I want to know who saw who first on set, on Happy Days. You were already Ralph MALPH, and if you miss that show, you're going to have to watch it again because he explains how Ralph wasn't even a character in the original show, that it was his idea, basically, to have that character, or you offered up. And they wrote that character in, main character Ralph MALPH. What episode was it, and what happened? I want the blow by blow.
Well, I'll start, I guess, because I probably know the answers. So that part of it. It was the 7th season, which so it was. We started shooting that in the summer of '79, and we met. I don't remember what number episode, but actually close, because the 7th season turned out to be my final season. The show ran 11 years, but wow. I did 10 and a half, but 11 seasons. I did the first 7. And then after that, Ron Howard and I, for various reasons, decided when our contract was up to move on and not renew. So luckily, Morgan came on as a guest star in that episode during that 7th season before I was gone. Otherwise, we wouldn't have met. So, and it was October. It was around Halloween time, right around Halloween. And I guess you probably arrived. We would do a reading. The cast, without the guest stars, would do a reading of the script on Monday for the writers and the producers. We'd do a little rehearsal Monday, Tuesday, and you came on Wednesday. So it was a scene where. The episode was, we found out, Potsy and Ralph find out that Chachi has gotten a job as an assistant to a photographer at a studio where he's shooting nude models. So when we found that out, we made a quick dash down to the studio to crash the studio so we could see what was going on. And Morgan played one of the models. Obviously, we didn't see anybody nude, but we we saw them in their whatever state. It was all very clean. Yes. It was all very clean. But Morgan was one of the models. So, do you remember? I can't remember when we very first.
We first started talking when we were rehearsing and we were on stage blocking or something like that.
Right.
And we were sitting near each other off stage waiting for our turn to go on. And we just started talking to each other. And then we found that every time we went on break or they said cut, we'd go to be over there talking to each other.
So what was your first impression, Morgan, of him?
well, I thought he was a pretty sexy, hot guy.
Oh, really?
And yeah.
Well, that's good to know.
He's getting a
And
little.
he was very
He's
nice.
getting a little red.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so cute.
but we got along very quickly, you know, where in terms of it was easy talking right away, and I obviously was very attracted to Morgan.
What were your first thoughts when you saw her?
I thought she was gorgeous and sexy,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I started talking to her, I could see how she was very. I knew she was intelligent, but also she was very sort of humble, you know, humble about it, and very real, you know, very a real person. Yeah, very grounded, and had. I found it very easy to talk to, and to the point where, you know, this continued on Thursday while we were rehearsing, and then Friday we would shoot the show in front of an audience. But after the dress rehearsal, you had the choice of either going to the commissary to have dinner, the studio, you know, company provided, but there was also a restaurant right outside of Paramount Studios called Nickadel's, and sometimes, you know, when somebody, cast members might want to not go to the commissary and go there. And so I asked Morgan if she would, you know, go out, if I could buy her dinner and go have dinner at Nickadel's. So that's when it really, you know, we went to dinner, and that's when things took on maybe a different complexion than it being just friendly. It started getting a little more romantic at dinner.
Oh, at that first dinner. So
Yeah.
it was pretty fast. You kind of
yeah. Well, you know, we've been working together now for three days on the set, talking, and you know, it's natural to have.
I'm sorry, 3 days is so fast.
Well,
we just had dinner.
Well, I mean, we just had dinner. I mean, nothing else. You know, I just meant.
Okay.
I meant that it just was. You could tell that we were now talking on a little bit more of a romantic level.
Okay.
That's what I meant.
For that clarification. Yeah. You know, you said nude model, and then dinner, and then
No, I just meant that.
You can turn red again, Morgan.
No, I just meant that that's when we started talking in a different manner.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful. Now, were you starstruck at all by him, Morgan? Because he has been Ralph Malph for 7 years.
I don't think so. I'm not a real starstruck kind of person. I just saw what a nice guy he was, and how we just really seemed to enjoy talking to each other.
And communicated.
Yeah.
And you've been used to being around people.
Yeah, I've been working for a while, so I've been used to being around people like that, you know, in the business and stuff. So
yeah.
So how long did it go on before he couldn't stop popping the question?
It was about 2 years.
Yeah, we dated for 2 years before we became engaged. Yes.
Okay. And then how did you pop the question?
It was at the house in Malibu. I was living in Malibu at the time, and I just remember it was like it had been on my mind, and I wasn't sure, you know, how to do it, and I didn't do anything crazy or fancy, or it was just sort of very almost. I think I probably surprised you because I think it just came out just like it was a normal conversation. Oh, by the way, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
What do you think about getting married? You know, it was that kind of a thing, and I'm sure. Yeah, I remember you had a stunned look on your face.
So what's going on in your head, Morgan?
Well, I was just happy he did, because I was ready for that.
Oh, you were ready. Oh, so but you hadn't said anything like, when are we getting married?
No.
She played it cool, and then was nicely surprised.
Yes.
Nicely surprised. Definitely surprised.
Oh, that's nice. So, do you guys fight?
Oh, like once in a while.
Not very much, but once in a while.
Once in a while.
Yeah. And how do you, what's your advice for couples who are feeling, I mean, what are some tips that you think would help someone survive? I shouldn't say survive. You can tell I'm happily divorced. Survive 40 years. No, enjoy 40 years and
be able to go on and to continue. Do you want me to go first? Do you have some thoughts on that?
I just don't. I don't like going to sleep angry. I like to clear it up before we go to sleep. I think that's a real good thing, so it doesn't fester overnight or something like that. And I've also found that since I've had Parkinson's, I say things a lot more quickly now than I used to. I get to the point and I don't let stuff go. I get it out because I just can't keep it inside anymore,
And that's
I've got enough to deal with the beast. The beast has taught me to not take it anymore. So I just...
And that is a good thing to get these things out. I mean, obviously communication is one of the answer to so many things, if not almost everything, communication.
Yeah.
And so I think the fact that we're sensitive to each other, we're very sensitive to each other. And if ever there were problems, there were faults on either side of us, is when we didn't get it out as soon as we should have, where we just were holding it in, and then you just get further and further apart instead of stopping it and then communicating. But I think we used to hold not too much, but we were afraid to say certain things and hold it in, and it's been better when we do get it out more quickly and immediate, closer to when the incident might have happened.
Right. This is the hashtag COVID silver. I mean, not COVID silver, the Parkinson's silver lining, right? Morgan's ability to just get it out. I have a bonus mom and dad who just celebrated their 72nd wedding anniversary.
Yeah, that's great.
And,
oh my gosh.
I did an interview with him. He's 92, about to be 93. She's 89, about to be 90. And I just love the way they, I'll be on the phone with dad and he'll say, hold on one second. And I'm like, what's wrong? He'll say, I'm just enjoying how beautiful my wife looks right now. And I'm like, oh, right? There's hashtag relationship goals. But in a funny thing, I interviewed him at the restaurant and I said, so what is the key to, a happy life? He goes, a happy wife. And how did you make it to 72 years? And he goes, neither one of us wanted a divorce at the same time. So as you can tell, I love to laugh. Laughter is my favorite sound in the whole world. So I know that Morgan and I get along just fine going out and doing something because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're almost out of time. So I am going to ask you the question that I ask all my guests at the end, which is, to who and what are you most grateful for? To who or what are you most grateful for? On the count of three, point to the person you want to start. 1, 2, 3.
I'll start. My husband and my 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Because they've kept me going and they're wonderful.
Beautiful.
And I just really enjoy being with them at all times.
That's
yeah. Well, the same thing for me. I'm most grateful for Morgan and my girls and family, close family. And then on the other side, I mean, obviously my work has been very important to me over the years. So I'm very grateful for what I've had the opportunity to do so far. Very grateful and hoping that there's much more to come. Hopefully.
Absolutely. And best wishes to that. And I'm going to ask you for a wish for me, since this is my 9-year anniversary, a wish that you would want to bless me with, because I'm so glad you're here with me.
Well, laughter is your favorite thing, so wonderful health and lots of laughter for many, many years to come. That's what I would be wishing for you.
Thank you so much. And
Yes.
Morgan? Yeah.
I wish for you, I just had it in my brain and I lost it. That happens with Parkinson's.
Love.
Love. Yeah, love. Lots of love from all your listeners who can benefit from your expertise and your feelings of love for everybody. How you're so helpful and open with yourself to help other people.
Thank you. Have you had a good time on the show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Morgan doesn't do this.
I don't do this very often.
No.
Really?
This
is very rare.
very rare.
Very rare.
Oh, that just made my show.
I enjoyed talking with you, and
yeah, she knew how much I enjoyed talking with you, and then she would listen to the interview and got to know you a little bit, and then felt comfortable enough to want to come on and do it with you. Otherwise, I think maybe you've done one other show ever.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there's my gift right there. Thank you so much, Morgan and Dawn.
Our pleasure.
This is another weird thing I do at the end of every show, which is it's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. So, could you do that with me?
Yeah. Peace in,
peace out, world
peace through
inner peace.
Inner peace. Yes,
That's
I like
nice.
that.
Thank you so much.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from her living room during the pandemic with my very special celebratory guests of my 9 years on the air, on camera, Dawn Most, Morgan Most, and go forth and multiply the most that you are.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Mic is off. And that is it for my 9th year, 521st consecutive week and 621 shows. I am so grateful for all of your support and all of your continued hearts and thumbs up and everything that you have contributed and supported me with. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live. If you want to support this show or me in my work, in my Happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years, it's really easy to do. You just go shop on Amazon and then go to Smile Amazon, put in 8 Ways to Happiness, which is my nonprofit that helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. And Amazon gives a little. You can also go to my website, drmarissa.life, and there's ways to donate, and then you get things like my download for Balanced Tai Chi Go, my children's book, Mommy, What Are Feelings, and then my audio book of my #1 bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. So I so am grateful. Thank you for tuning in today on this very special day. Wasn't Dawn and Morgan, it's just like I'm going to get emotional again because I'm just so blessed. And what better guest to celebrate. That's it. Peace in, peace out, world peace through, inner peace. Go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow.